and welcome to this Telit Cinterion webinar, Connected Machines, Smarter Performance in Manufacturing. I am Amanda Flink, the head of global events here at Telit, and I will be moderating today's event. Let's quickly get to know our speaker. To explain this topic today, I'm pleased to be joined by Matthew Keever, FAE Solutions Engineer, IoT Platforms at Telit Cinterion. Now, just before I hand it over to Matthew to start our presentation, I do have just a few quick reminders. We will have time to answer some questions at the end of the presentation. Simply submit a question by posting in the questions box, which you should see located near the bottom of your screen. Also, please be sure to check out the resources section for some additional information. There you can find a copy of today's slide deck and a few other resources on this topic. And finally, we will send out the replay link to all attendees at the conclusion of the webinar. And with that, Matthew, I will hand it over to you to start our presentation and then our demo.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Amanda. Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Keever. I'm an FAE Solutions Engineer here at Telit IoT Platforms. What I'm going to cover is a brief presentation going over some of the features that DeviceWise platform offers within the Telit Centurion brand. And then we're going to dive into a live demo showing you some of the use cases you can use in the field. Let me start off a little bit to cover who Telit Centurion is. Some of you may know us very well. Some of you have just recently heard of our company. We are a global company focused on IoT. We are pushing for the new vision of IoT to be every device connected and intelligent at the edge, in the cloud, and everything in between. Most people predict by the end of the 2025, we'll have 30 billion devices connected into an IoT network of some kind, and Telit is right at the cusp of doing that every single day. So we normally are connecting a new device or sometimes 5 devices every second out in the field. Now, how do we do this? So Telit has 4 main pillars of our platform. We have our custom solution group. We have our hardware modules group that is mostly well known as Telit Centurion. We have our connectivity offering, which is a global MVNO that we can give great insights to our SIM management systems. And we have our software and platforms division that bundles and puts everything together. If you look at the larger portfolio, you can take a look at we have the edge, the network, the cloud side of the IoT, and we have a piece of every single part of the Telit Centurion portfolio. And the DeviceWise platform is one that fits right in between all of those different systems. What I'm going to focus on today is the software and platforms division of the IoT portfolio within Telit Centurion. And to break it down a little bit, the main parts of it is the DeviceWise Edge core system that runs in at the edge systems on gateways, on servers, on virtual machines, on Docker containers, or in some cases inside of the backplanes of PLCs that gives us live information and data collection from all types of different devices, regardless of its manufacturer, regardless of its protocol, and regardless of how it's connected over network, serial, or proprietary connectors. We also have included with that edge component, which is DeviceWise View. It's a SCADA-like HMI environment that is easy to use, drag and drop. If you can build a PowerPoint, you can build a fully working bidirectional controlling HMI screen. And to round that portion out, you have the DeviceWise Cloud, where you can integrate not only the device management sides for lifecycle managements of gateways, software, applications, operating systems in some cases, but you also have the ability to have cloud-based applications developed exclusively in the cloud as well. So you can have your edge-based systems, your visual-based systems, and your cloud-based systems all in one single platform. Now, to round this out, where did all of these pieces come from? To link back to the heritage, this all came out of IBM when they were trying to develop a lights out operation system, where that means everything will be automated, no need to touch anything, everything is done for you automatically by automation, robots, and different systems. To develop that was a platform called PlantWorks inside of IBM, and it was a great success for what they were doing. To a success that in the year 2000, that was a spin-off company called ILS Technology that came about and became its own company into the market. At the time, what was known as M2M. In 2013, Telit acquired ILS Technology to round out the portfolio of its offering to be able to bring the SecureWise and DeviceWise platform into the fold of the Telit Centurion brand. Now, some of you may know us, some of you have just heard of us. Give you an example of a market penetration that we are well known for is the automotive space. So we are in 8 out of the 10 largest automakers in the world, and we develop alongside them or with their integrators solutions for better uptime, track and trace, management system, and full lifecycle production in some cases. If you think of a car, it has everything under the hood of a smart building just on wheels. You have all of the electronics, the leather, the interior, the frame, the welding, the paint, and then the engine that you have to deal with all in one package. So the automotive industry we like to talk about because it's not just one industry of one component or one piece, it's a lot of things bundled up together. Now, the auto industry is just one of many that industries that DeviceWise plays a very pivotal role in there, which is why we always win one or sometimes several 10 different awards a year to look at our larger portfolio, is because that not only do we focus on one market, we are in every market of the IoT space. So we take the specialties and we take the knowledge learned from one industry and another and bring it together to allow our customers to have the best well-rounded solution possible. And it's not just us thinking that. ABI Research and many other research firms always put us at the top leaderboard of the different IoT platforms in the market. And that's because of our diversity in the space of partners, integrators, customers, and solutions. We have a different piece of components that are being implemented on a daily basis. Now, to simplify the architecture a little bit here, we break down our architecture into two main pieces. We have the connected factories opportunity that allows us to see everything at the edge. It's a completely offline, on-premise environment that gives you the ability to connect to any manufacturing asset, collect the data, transform it, and manipulate it however you need to do, visualize it if necessary with DeviceWise View, and then send it to any enterprise system. That way, DeviceWise can be your single point of information and unify everything you're doing on the shop floor. But we also are uniquely positioned as part of the larger portfolio of Telit Cinterion is to bring up an offering called connected machines. So it's not only do we have all the portfolio that we do on premise, we can now take this to remote access to either be inside of an OEM machine that install DeviceWise inside of their machine or inside of a gateway inside the machine to collect data, to improve uptime, to reduce maintenance costs, to give additional services to these machines inside of factory floors, to be able to have remote access to these systems to support maintenance calls. You can go from having a maintenance support technician being 1 to 2 days on a plane to 1 to 2 minutes through your computer from anywhere in the world. You also have the full capability that you would do on premise at any facility and any location you want to. You have the full asset communication, you have the full visualization, all the driver communication to the enterprise and asset level is all done in the field. And you can also link that all systems together with the other pieces of the Telit Centurion portfolio, such as the one-edge hardware systems for our modules and our connectivity offering for SIMs and global data communication. Including with that is the unifying DeviceWise cloud platform that takes all those pieces and sticks them together. And then from there, you can have everything as a one part solution, or we know that there's many customers out there that have existing or are looking at some of our other partners like AWS, Azure, SAP, IBM. So we have direct linkages into their systems as well. You can have a direct from on-premise into the systems. You can have an indirect system where you want to manipulate or use to transform data in our cloud platform before it's sent over. So you can do a direct connection or you can do a cloud-to-cloud communication. And further than that, we do have one of the most open platforms on the market that allows you to integrate into any of our public and free APIs, allowing you to build your own platform on top of ours, allowing us to be your silent partner in the background and give you the full capabilities of whatever you and your team can imagine to create. Now, let me focus a little bit more on the connected machine offering specifically. You saw in the big picture, let me kind of nail it down a little bit more focused about what we could do. We talked about the asset component, we talked about the enterprise integration, the third-party cloud, and the first-party cloud integration. All these pieces are seamlessly linked together with one platform instead of having to find the tools, the resources, and the manpower to try to build a solution from scratch. You can just have an out-of-the-box experience. And from that, we actually have an out-of-the-box experience from many of our hardware partners. So we have many different hardware partners for gateways that we can either have you talk to directly, approved lists if you want to look out into the market for approved list of gateways, or you can just simply ask and we will provide the hardware for you as an out-of-the-box solution, giving you the full portfolio for our data collection layer, visualization layer, cloud connection layers, cellular management, firmware management for our modules and other systems on the physical hardware itself, and to the enterprise system. And I haven't talked about this yet of all the pieces that can be done is through different APIs, but we also have a no custom code drag and drop edge logic system and cloud system that all you need to do is build a simple flow chart and you have a completely done system itself. No need to learn a specialty in a language, no need to specialize in one environment another that might change. Everything you do in one system can be instantly transferable from one to another. Test and utilize and prototype on your Windows laptop. You move it instantly to a Linux ARM gateway. It's easy to deploy that, and then you can use the cloud platform to actually deploy those systems into the field in real time. Now, I'm talking about a lot of tools and different things, so let me kind of simplify that on a chart here. So DeviceWise has all the features built in from the data collection layer, the edge logic, the IT/OT integration that's critical for Industrial 4.0 applications. You have your visualization, you have your cloud connectors, remote access, and device management. Now, let me show you what it would look like if you weren't going to use the integrated DeviceWise platform. We start off with a data collection layer. A well-known one would be Kepware. That's a great system, but you're limited of what its capability is. Our driver portfolio is much larger and also includes the capabilities that Kepware does. So you have what Kepware does and more within our system. If you want to do an edge logic layer, well, then you would have to include something like Node-RED, which then you would have to build a custom coding layer between Kepware and Node-RED. So you've now, to do one piece of what DeviceWise does, you've had to build two different systems, link them together yourself, which means most of the time it's easy to get started. It's hard to maintain because you have to worry about who's going to maintain it, who's responsible for maintaining. If they leave the company or they get promoted, who's going to be responsible to take over this custom coding layer. So that's normally the most biggest conflict that we find with our customers is not to get started, but to keep going. And that's where we want to make sure that our systems are forward and backwards compatible so that you never have to worry about what you're doing today. Is it going to be usable in the future? Everything you do with DeviceWise is good for today, tomorrow, and in the future. Now, if we talk about for the systems like IT/OT, there really is no like out-of-the-box solution for that except for DeviceWise. If you want to connect from your database to your MES or your ERP system, it's as easy as saying, take the data from here, send it to here, wait for the response, and you're done. So from our perspective, it's one of the key features we like to focus on. It's just the ease of use between the two teams. We don't want conflict between them. We just want to ease transparency between all the different systems. If you're going to do something like visualization, and you could use a tool like Ignition, which is a great tool, but it's so complex and it's that you need essentially a dedicated team or a system integrator just to maintain it. With DeviceWise View, it's as easy as building a PowerPoint. And that's the same thing when we move on to cloud connectors. So for cloud connectors, you have some sort of open standard, but most of the time you have to deal with some form of custom coding layer or some custom tool set. With DeviceWise, a cloud connector like Azure, AWS is just as easy as connect to any other system on premise. We handle the security layer, the inferencing. We even have a feature called store and forward that allows if you ever lose connection to a cloud system or an enterprise system, so like edge or cloud, the moment you lose connection, DeviceWise recognizes it and starts protecting that data to ensure that you never lose any data and it's transparent to what's going on in real time. Now, also, if you want to access your devices in the field, then you have to use something like an E1 solution, which is a great solution, but it's another component, it's another piece you have to link together into your system, or DeviceWise has it right out of the box. You can access the gateway, you can access the operating system, the DeviceWise environment, or even downstream devices from the gateway itself in a connected machine environment. You can access everything from one simple platform. And also from that, to access and manage the DeviceWise platform also allows you to do device management from anywhere. So we are transparent and we are an open platform to allow you to integrate anything that you have, or maybe you find someone that you prefer, you can definitely use that. But as an out-of-the-box system, there is no platform on the market that has all the tools right away for you. And I kind of show you that from here. These are typically the 6 different Purdue layers that you would normally go through the standard Purdue model. DeviceWise fits not only from one to another, but in between every single one. So doesn't matter where you are in your journey into an industrial IoT system, DeviceWise fits right into there and can help you move from where you are to where you want to be. Including with that also, in the standard digital maturity model that Microsoft has pioneered and pushed, we sit in between and inside every single step of the way, and we can help do everything that you need to, from the data collection, the transformation, to the loop back and feedback information. All that is built into just one simple DeviceWise platform. And from there, let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about in using a live demo for right now. So let's take a quick dive into the software. What you're looking at is a list of drivers that I currently have installed on my DeviceWise node. If I wanted to add more, it's as easy as clicking on the Add button, specifying which ones I want to install, and go ahead, it'll install it. Since DeviceWise has the largest selection of drivers on the market, it's easy to find what you're looking for. Now, once you have the driver installed, it's as easy to connect to a device as well. If you want to connect to an Atlas Copco, a USB barcode scanner, Fanuc CNC or robot, MQTT Connect, you want to go over Mitsubishi, you want to go to Modbus, OPC UA, OPC DA, Rockwell, Siemens, whatever you want to do, DeviceWise has a driver for it. So let me show you how easy it is to connect. If I say this is going to be my Siemens PLC, all I need to do is put in the IP address. Once I do that, I can go ahead and click on Validate. It goes out, checks that this is the right device, the right connection, and the DeviceWise can talk to it with no problem. If I wanted to do something, let's say a little bit more, I can go ahead and specify which data blocks I'm interested in looking at. If I wanted to change the port, if I wanted to change the data register range, all that is available right within the DeviceWise device definition. Inside of here, go ahead and click on Save. Once I do that, I can just right-click and say Start. What DeviceWise has done is reached out to the PLC, gathered all the information out of it, and we can go see that in the tree. So here would be my Rockwell PLC, here is my Siemens PLC, and I can either read all the digital inputs as an array or as individual bits. I could do the same thing for the data blocks if I wanted to. Go ahead and specify these. I say I want to write as a string. Simple word says hello. That's written across the different data blocks that I've specified as a string. I can read, write, do anything I want to, since DeviceWise has full bidirectional capability to any device. Now I can go ahead and log that data. I can go ahead and synchronize that into the built-in local database that's built into DeviceWise. I can use that on external databases if I wanted to connect over to a DB2, MySQL, Oracle, MSQL, Mongo, SAP, HANA, whatever type of database I'm interested in, I can do. I can also connect over to different ERPs directly to SAP. Whatever type of system you have out there, DeviceWise can connect to it. Now let me show you how easy it is to link all these pieces together. Let me build what we call a trigger, which is a no custom code visual flow program that gets compiled to native code on the system. So I'll say PLC data to local DB. I'll go ahead and say I want to build a trigger that's going to monitor a specific tag on my PLC. When that PLC tag changes, I want to do a quick math conversion. I'm going to convert it to a byte format to decimal. So to say analog input, simple formula. Once I've done that, just go ahead and say I want to grab the data off that tag of the PLC, map this to a local variable where I can keep the value temporarily, and I'm going to grab another action block that allows me to go ahead and insert that data into a database. So I'll go ahead and grab that here, say I want to put it here, and now it's as easy as filling in the blanks. If I want the timestamp, I'll grab it from the built-in macros of DeviceWise. I want to get the converted data, will be right from that local variable you saw me just create. Raw data will come right out of the PLC, and the device name, I can simply just type it in if I want to. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and close that program off, connect it up, and that's it. Not even 2 minutes of work, I've built a program that can monitor, collect, transform, and send data to wherever I want it to. If I wanted to do something maybe more advanced, send it to an external database, I can over the network. If I wanted to put the data into a JSON format, I can do that. Send it over an email or attach a file on the email to send out. Anything that I could think I want to do, you can do it within DeviceWise with a very simple action block. Now, let me go ahead and get rid of all these pieces, save it, and just start up the program. Now when you start up, it takes that visual flow logic, compiles it to native code, so it's checked and compiled before it ever runs. And I'm going to go ahead and look at that database now. Click on refresh. There's the data coming in right from the PLC. Here's the original byte data, here's the converted data, and a timestamp to go with it. All that built in DeviceWise, no complications, easy to use, no custom code. But not just in there. I'm going to reach out into our DeviceWise cloud environment, and you can see how you can keep track of devices in the field, at the edge, however you need to do it. If I go ahead and click on things, we can see all the devices I currently have connected. Here's mine. If I want to keep track of where it's connected, where it's currently located, I can do that. If I want to see the different data that's being collected, right here, I can go ahead and zoom in and out, change on the time range of what I want. I can even take different alarm states that we have and map it over the data to keep track of where things change, how things operate, all within the system. I can also look at those alarms individually if I wanted to see how often something is changing, how long something's in the time range, look at the timeline as it moves. That's all available for me right out of the box. You can also do zero-touch provisioning to go ahead and set all these devices up, and then you can use the tags to organize where things are. Keep track of different messages as they come in, transfer files, keep alerted as things change, remotely change or update different systems, customizable right at the edge. You can even remotely access it from anywhere using either SSH, Windows RDP, VNC. You can even do layer 2 tunneling to access PLCs behind where DeviceWise installed to make over-the-air ladder logic updates possible. All that and more is available with DeviceWise Cloud. Further than that, you can also dive in and build no custom code cloud computing programs directly in DeviceWise Cloud as well. Same type of format, same type of concept you do at the edge, but now you can do it at the cloud. You can collect data as it changes. You can go and track through geofencing. You can move the devices as things are alerted. You can alert people through email, app notification, even integrate into Teams things like Teams and Slack. That all is possible with DeviceWise Cloud. Now, further than just the data collection, the management, and all those pieces, let me show you how we can do visualization as well within the DeviceWise platform. Now, this could run either at the very edge, completely offline, or in the cloud, however you want to do it. I'm going to create a new display here. I'm just going to call it demo. Once I'm in here, I can go ahead and click on a widget and say I want to visualize this piece of data right from my PLC. Say how often I want to poll it, say 200 milliseconds, and that's it. I don't have to do anything else, nothing more complicated. You're seeing the live data from the PLC right now. If I want to give that widget a title so I can easily know what's going on, I can right here. If I wanted to go further and graph it, it's also just as easy. Grab a graph, select it in there, and then just add in the tag that I'm interested in reading from. Say how often I want to read it, and done. That's all available, no custom code, no custom environments. I didn't have to build any custom widgets. It's all there for me. Now, if I don't like how that looks, I can go ahead and change the background if I want to. I can do it where I want to do a specific color. I can do a specific image if I choose to. All that is available for me. I can go ahead and say how I want it to fit and look, or I could use simple colors and backgrounds to be able to make things shift and look specific ways within the environment. Essentially, you can make yourself look like you're an expert designer when all you have to do is make a few clicks. Now I can also change, if I don't like that dark on dark look, I can go ahead and jump over here, change that line color to something else, or even pick a color to fill in the bottom to do a transparent system. So you can do that on anything. You can even do a custom background of the widget itself if I wanted to. So not just the display, but the widget also. So if I want to go over here and give, say, a dark blue background to that widget, it's as easy as that. But not only can you visualize data, you can also control devices on the other side as well. So let me grab this widget here and take a look at the output of the PLC. So if I can go ahead and take that output, and I'll give it a title that says PLC output. I can grab a write widget here and go ahead and say that I want to write directly to the output of this PLC. Anytime I do this, I'm just going to say a value of 123. I want to write that directly to the PLC. That's easy. Now, if I wanted to add the ability to, let's say, confirm my write before I put it, or if I wanted to do the byte to decimal conversion on the fly so I don't have to remember the formulas, I can also do that with device-wise view right here. Let me grab a button, go ahead and make it a little bigger, and I say confirm write to PLC. I can give it one of 1,800 different icons I can choose from. Once I do that, I can now go into here and specify a trigger inside of the widget itself. So you have edge triggers that can control your edge logic, you have cloud triggers that can help manage your system, and then you have device-wise view widget triggers that can help you manage and change things within the visual environment. So if I create a trigger here, I can do anything from a click, double click, mouse over, values change, interval change, whatever I choose to have it as. And because this is browser-based, it's completely transferable from a desktop environment to a mobile environment. So every time you see a click, you can think about a tap. For this, I'm going to say I can go ahead and write a value. I want to go ahead and write it to a global variable, a way to store data within device-wise for other things to interact with. I want to say I want to write this at a rate of 200 milliseconds, and I can do whatever I choose to do from here. I could have also navigated to different screens. I can call edge triggers if I want to, open and close pop-up windows, do text-to-speech or audio messages and audio files calls over the system, over a loudspeaker. All that is available for you within device-wise view. I can also have the ability to store local data within here, which I'll use my vout as a temporary environment. Go ahead and place that right in here. And then I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. What I'm going to do is change this one variable to, instead of writing directly to the PLC, I'm going to use the local variable as an intermediate step. And once that's set, the button's already written and ready to go. Before I jump into the live mode, maybe I can go ahead and grab a database chart where I want to see and say I want to look at that data that you just saw me produce a while ago. Well, there's that database all set up, ready to go. And like I said, I could use this on either my desktop environment like this, or I could push it directly into my mobile environment. You can even run it as a progressive web app if you want to lock down a device to specifically this screen and only that screen. So if I go to live mode here, that's all set up. I can search, I can view, I can make changes. And anytime I write a value into here now, so let's say 7.7, I do a confirm. That value is written to a global variable. A trigger sees the change, does the conversion for me automatically, and writes that value to the PLC. So that's all taken care of for me, not even 3 minutes of work to build a display. Now let me show you a couple of pre-done displays also. So if I wanted to, let's say, take this and control a PLC, I can do that. If I wanted to go ahead and tell I want to toggle on the PLC right here, if I want to see the values as they change, I can do that also. I can even just go ahead and say I want to flip them all off. All that is available for me. I can jump in and show you how to do a generator monitoring. for DeviceWise is not just limited to one environment or another. You can have it in many different regards. You can see, visualize, control environments, or create an entire front end to an existing application. You can see all the live data as it's coming off the system. You can jump in to see things like pressure and water flow for waste management systems and freshwater management systems. You can even see things like if you want to do OEE calculations and track how things are operating within your environment, call for maintenance, request new materials, do on-the-fly calculations. And the best thing about this, since it's one centralized system that could be used on any device, managers, operators, technicians can all see the same screen and get the same information at the exact same time. So you can keep track of how things are operating, performing, however you need to do it. And again, this is all a no custom code, drag and drop system that you can build anything you want to. I can even switch over to something, let's say, more in line to energy monitoring. If you want to go ahead and track energy usage across different time frames at different locations, if you want to switch between environments, different time ranges, be able to graph as they go, you can trend the charts if you like to, or simply just get insight of what's going on. That's all possible with a DeviceWise platform-enabled solution. Especially for we classify connected machines, it's an ability to take the power of DeviceWise anywhere you need to go. I think we have a time for a few questions here. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and start putting in the chat, and I'll be glad to answer them.
Perfect. Thanks, Matthew. Now, just before we get to those questions, audience, I am going to drop a poll on your screen here. If you have maybe some really specific questions that you'd like to address, or you'd like to have one of our experts contact you, please just respond here on the poll and we'll be sure to connect you with someone. Like Matthew said, we've got time for some questions and there's still time to ask, so please go ahead and submit. Matthew, we've gotten a couple here, so I'll just go ahead and dive right in. The first one I have, what are all the different devices that we could connect to DeviceWise?
Oh, sure. That's glad to answer that. So DeviceWise has a list of, I believe we're up to 120 different drivers on our portfolio, and within those different drivers, we have another dozen subfamilies of there. So anything from a DC torque tool, from Stanley Tools, Install RAN, Atlas Copco, to a robot from Fanuc, Kawasaki, Nachi, Kuka. We can connect to all those different things, and including also that we can natively connect into PLCs like Rockwell, Siemens, Omron, Mitsubishi, that allows us to communicate to them at their native driver level or a standard driver level like OPC or a Modbus connection.
Great, thank you. Next question I have, do you have templates that we could use here, or do we always have to start with a blank slate?
Oh, great question. So what you saw here, I showed you that it's very easy to start from beginning and right out of the box build something. But if you want a get it started point, we do offer templates called Smart Start, and you can find them on the Telit website, and you can just download them, import them into the system, and you'll have a brand new starting point that you can start interacting with things for like smart agricultural or OEE, or connecting to other things like PLCs or DC torque tools. We have a smart start for each one.
You just mentioned OEE, and I have another, I guess, OEE question here. Can DeviceWise be used to calculate OEE, or do I need to run other applications?
Nope, you could use all the calculations within DeviceWise itself. That OEE screen I showed you during the live demo, that is completely being done within DeviceWise itself. If you choose to use an external system, you're more than welcome to, but it's just going to be redundant since DeviceWise has all the tools you need inside.
All right, let's see here. Next question. Do I need to pay extra for the drivers? What about tags?
Nope, you do not have to pay any extra money for the drivers. All the drivers are included with your DeviceWise license cost already, and there is no additional charge for any amount of tags. You can have 1,000 or 10,000 tags in your PLC. You can access them all, no extra cost.
Great, thank you. Next question, what type of environment can DeviceWise run in?
Oh, okay, sure. So DeviceWise, or specifically DeviceWise Edge, has the ability to run in many different environments. You can run it on your Windows environment, 32, 64-bit, so newer, old. Same with Linux. You can have 64, 32-bit if you're running on an Intel AMD platform. But if you're running on an ARM system, like an ARM gateway, we also have DeviceWise ready for those environments. We do build for 37 public platforms that we offer on our website. If you go to docs.devicewise.com, you can see the list of supported hardware and software platforms. But we also can run inside of virtual machines, inside of Docker containers. We can run in the backplane of some PLCs from Siemens, Mitsubishi, and Rockwell. You can actually have us hosted as well. And some customers will have us in a hosted environment. So pretty much any place that you have an operating system, device-wise, can run inside of it.
Awesome. Thanks, Matthew. I believe that's all the time that we have for today. Not to worry if we didn't get to your question. We'll be sure to pass those along to the team and have someone reach out to you. Again, please be sure to check your inboxes in the coming days for that replay link. Matthew, really appreciate your time today and you walking us through that demo. And thank you, everybody who joined us.